OK, before the travel news, you heard If You Tolerate This, and that's on a great new album with all the singles on of the Manics, of course, officially the Manic Street Preachers. And if my dad was here, I might be able to do this interview in Welsh, but I don't think we can. It's Nicky from the band. How you doing, Nick?
I'm fine, thanks, yeah.
Good.
I'm all good and ready to go.
Good man, Nicky and of course, not been a bad year for you, and well done for the gig at the London O2 Arena, because the 17th of December it is, by the way. The Eagles, when they played there, charged £100 for tickets, which is unbelievable in these troubled times. You're also going out at 32.50 and 22.50.
You know, we've always, over the years, tried to be pretty responsible with our tickets, and I think it's paid off because we've always, kept a huge live following. Even when we did the Millennium Stadium on the night of the Millennium, we charged a lot cheaper than most people, and we've always been cheap and nasty, you know us.
Join the club. but I mean, it is offensive, isn't it, really, in these times, to charge £100 a ticket, really,
Well, I wouldn't pay £100 to come and see myself, that's for sure. And I think I'm pretty good.
Very good. Hey, let's talk about the Polaroid book as well, which you got coming out. I mean, Polaroids, I thought were a thing of the past. I've still got one in the loft, but you can't seem to buy films for them. But you're a Polaroid man.
I am, and I guess I got it from my mum and dad, really. It just seemed like a really expensive toy when we were growing up, and such a beautiful way of capturing snapshots of holidays and Christmases and bonfire nights. And I used to pore over those albums constantly as I got older. And then I just decided to take one around the world. Me and myself and now a photographer, Richey from Japan, followed us around, and he started taking loads of Polaroids. And I must have between 6,000 and 10,000, something like that, between the two of us. So I've had to edit it down for this book to about 600 or 700, I think, which is still a huge book, actually. So.
And it's coming out via a legendary publishing company, isn't it?
It is. I mean, to be on Faber and Faber is a massive thrill for me, because I grew up reading Philip Larkin and Sylvia Plath and T.S. Eliot, all on Faber. And when I signed with them, I went there and they took me down to the archive, sat at the table where they all used to sit, and read some postcards from Philip Larkin and stuff. It was a truly magical kind of experience, Lucky enough to be on Columbia Records for 20 years, which I think is an amazing label as well. So I've been blessed.
Well, yeah, and that is unusual in itself. Most bands, after 3 albums, either the record company gets fed up with them and thinks they're not selling enough, or, the band gets fed up and wants to create their own label. Why do you think that hasn't happened to you?
I think we are a really loyal bunch of people to each other and to our managers, and I think that loyalty works both ways. The same promoter we've had as well, same press company. So I think there is a measure of loyalty, and also we just really enjoyed being on the label. You obviously have the odd up and down, but as a rule, I think if you've got strong ideas about how you want to present the band and how you want to just behave, if you know what I mean, then I always find it's a relief to them. I think they're less likely to interfere if you have a strong idea yourself. And that's how it's always been with us. And to be on the label of The Clash and Springsteen and Miles Davis and stuff, it's just always been a really nice thrill for us.
And Doris Day, of course.
Yeah, good call.
How did you get the contract with them in the first place?
Well, we had after Motown Junk, there was quite a few labels chasing us. That was the record really that turned it all for us. And Rob Stringer, who now runs the American company, he followed us around for Columbia, really trying to sign us. And because he was just so enthusiastic, and he was, in our man at the time, we just went with the company that really wanted us most, and felt that we could be something akin to The Clash and really grow, and we did. We didn't sell millions of records till our 4th album, which is a rare thing, I think. If you're a band starting now, It seems like you've got to do it.
Them, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. That's the best way of putting it.
If the first three didn't go, you'd be out of the door.
You would,
which is a great shame, of course. The legendary Cliff Richard always goes on about this, saying that he would have been dumped in the early days because it took him ages to get a number one, and it seems incredible, doesn't it, that could have happened to him nowadays. So,
well, it's totally true. With the Clash, with London Calling was the album that broke him in America, but that was their third album, or Blur took to Parklife to sell millions of albums, and I think you have to be really, really special, like the Pistols or Arctic Monkeys, to really get it away with your first record. But those instances are very rare. For most of us mere mortals, it's a lot of learning and sort of grinding away involved.
What sort of year has it been for you so far? You've done the V Festival, haven't you, so far this year, I think?
We've just done... It's been really busy in, travelling around the world. We've done some great gigs. Toured Australia again, which we hadn't done for a long time. Some fantastic gigs in Japan. Came back and did V and the Tea in the Park, which are great. Hungary, Switzerland. The great thing is about the band now is that we can exist outside the UK bubble when we need to. We can just go abroad and have the time of our lives and communicate to people, and it's not so much pressure on it, if you know what I mean.
OK, well, let's play a track from the compilation, and this is the most recent one, and not one of yours, by which sounds like you've got a nasty stutter, but it isn't, and this is the day. Well, before the news, you heard This Is the Day from the Manics, as they're known, the Manic Street Preachers. We've got Nicky on the line, kindly speaking to us about the gig, which is, of course, coming up, O2 Arena. Cheap, but not nasty, the 17th of December. And being Welsh, of course, unlike the English, you can be very proud of the rugby boys at the moment.
Oh, it's been amazing. I've loved just getting up early. It's painful, anyone who supports a team passionately, whatever sport, it is that mixture of severe enjoyment and severe pain. But yeah. I love getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock for the Samoa game. I like it when it's that different, when you've got to make the effort and you kind of staggering around with nerves fluttering. It's just been an amazing tournament for Wales. They're just a really likable bunch, I think. Problem with England, they're just not that. This rugby side's just not likable. It doesn't have the Richard Hills and the Delalios and the kind of stoic and the Phil Vickerys. It doesn't have that kind of player.
Doesn't have the passion, actually.
No,
I think is what it is. Like many of the people I seem to talk to just recently, they could have made it in the sporting field. Like your good self, you were a trialist at Arsenal and Spurs, weren't you?
Well, I was decent at football, and I was in the Welsh youth as well, and there was a few trials flying around, but I really did realise I was captain of school cricket, lucky. I loved cricket as well. I was awful at rugby. I was really just such a kind of... It was way too hard for me, rugby. I'd just be crying on the floor. But I reached a point when I was 15, and I just thought, I'm just not quite good enough, I think. You just realising yourself, and you're starting to get into the Smiths and Echo and the Bunnymen, and music took over. And I got huge admiration for sports people, because the dedication you need to get to the top, like anything, is really hard. And I just realised I wasn't good enough.
Any of the other boys in the schoolboys team made it big that, you were playing with?
Not really. There was a couple of... a guy called Lyndon Simmons who played in the district as me, and he got signed for Leeds. But he never quite did it. Brilliant player, mind. He was a fantastic player.
I loved your last album, Postcards from a Young Man. I thought it was one of the best you've done. I mean, are we going to get any new stuff from you soon?
No, I mean... I think it was that felt like a certain end of the band. It's an album we're really proud of. I think there's so much melody and so much emotion and passion on there and we knew that. We knew it was our 10th album. We'd all just hit 40, 41, and we just thought we've really got to push on you. We've got to just get this out while we still can. I think next time we come back, which we definitely will, but we need to go to our bunker in Cardiff in our studio and come up with something kind of new and fresh. So this gig's the last gig we're doing in the UK for a couple of years. And
is it?
I imagine that it'll be a couple of years before we release a new record. But we've done 3 albums in 4 years, so we probably need to give people a break from us as well.
No, I don't think we're ready for that. You know, you're too young to retire, so keep on going. There's a lot of people, and as I say, if you can do some stuff like the last album, be good. I mean, in all the career, what have been the real highs? Would it have been like working with some, Welsh legends like Shirley Bassey, stuff like that? Would that have been, a real buzz for you?
Oh, it was. Me and James wrote a song for her, The Girl from Tiger Bay, which we were just thought turned out perfectly. James also did a track with Tom Jones, which was mega as well. He was the loudest singer I've ever heard in the studio, and James is pretty loud. But I think playing the Millennium Stadium to 66,000 people that night was pretty hard to top. It was one of those nights when everything went just as you'd hoped, but also just tiny things starting off, travelling around the country, playing really tiny clubs in Stoke and Southampton and Glasgow and Dundee, all around the country and going abroad just in the back of a transit. Those are the years that really made us tight. There's no room for ego when you're doing stuff like that. You've got to kind of believe in yourselves as a group. And I think that we all knew each other from school and stuff and university. So, I've been in the same class with James since I was 4. Which is pretty unhealthy to know someone that long, really. But
longer than marriage.
It is, yeah. It's definitely one of the reasons we've stayed together, because you just kind of know so much about each other.
Yeah. And you've done solo stuff in the past. Does this sort of break from the band mean you're going to be doing more solo stuff?
Well, to be honest, when with Faber, I've kind of got a memoir to write as well, so I would imagine that's going to take up quite a lot of my time next year, because I really want to try and write it myself as much as I can. So that's my sort of target, and we'll just be in the studio writing songs together. And we both enjoyed doing solo records, myself and James, but it also made us realise how much we love being in this band, really, that what a blast it's been for 20 odd years.
I was looking at the video on your website, and there's a lot of guitar smashing going on there. Yeah. Is that sort of your tribute to The Who or something?
Oh, it was. I mean, we grew up on that kind of rock classicism. That's what it cost us dearly at the start, because we weren't as rich as The Who, and we loved the kind of idea. Pete Townsend used to talk about auto-destruction, and we did quite a bit of it at the start. But it was... I think we had to really try hard at the start. It was a strange era for music, and 4 kids coming from a comprehensive in Wales. We just thought we had to be larger than life. So it all fed into each other.
And at the early part of your career, you must have been supporting some big bands. Did you ever get on stage, and think, I can't believe we're supporting this act?
Yeah, I mean, it happened many times. One of our favourite bands was the Black Crowes back in the day. Absolutely loved the Black Crowes, and we supported them in these arenas in Amsterdam and through Holland and stuff, and they just didn't give us any sound check whatsoever, no lights, and I like to think we can pull bigger crowds than they can now, so there's some sweet justice involved.
Wonderful. Well, good luck with the album and the gig, and let's hope we do hear stuff from you. When's the Polaroid book coming out?
I think that's coming out in November. Just off to Faber and Faber now to do some stuff with them, and yeah, that's the sort of middle of November, and the gig. I think the gig is 90% sold out, so we're very happy. It'll probably be the second biggest gig we've ever done in the UK after the Millennium Stadium, so we're pretty thrilled with that.
Going to wear any dresses this time, or not? You over that?
I've got many costume changes planned. I'll be like Diana Ross.
Oh, please! That's a great picture. All right, well, thanks very much for talking to us, Nicky. I'm going out with a track from Postcards from a Young Man. It's Not War. Thanks very much, and good luck.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure.
I changed my mind. Actually, I'm not going to play that track.